automatic alarm is what we would call it. And that meant when the initial call went out, we got our technical rescue team out of Bedford along with some other manpower. The scope of the incident is evolving, and we have called for additional resources from our neighboring agencies out of the city of Lynchburg. And we have a wealth of other agencies here also operating from the Commonwealth. And that's pretty much on the fire side where we're at now. We're still operating in the search mode. We've completed what we call a hasty search, and we're now getting to what we call secondary searches, and we're conducting what they call a wide area search. Our operation is going to last for several more hours. If you have any questions for me, I'll be glad to answer them, but I'm going to turn it back over to Shelley and somebody else can speak.
Yep. Thank you, Chief. Next, we have Abby Johnson. She is the Deputy Chief of Operations for the Bedford County Department of Fire and Rescue, and she's going to talk about kind of what we're doing now in search and rescue operations.
Good afternoon. So as Chief Coleman said, we have a number of resources operating on scene right now, and we've transitioned from that initial hasty search of the residences that we've located to doing a more thorough secondary search to make sure that we are assessing not only if there's any needs by citizens or injuries, but also trying to assess the damage to the structures. At this time, we have about 45 structures that we've identified have been involved and damaged to some degree. We've been able to utilize drone technology to get up in the air and look down and see kind of what the footprint of the incident is. That's really one of the most important operational priorities at the beginning, is to determine the scope of the footprint of the incident. So at this time, we've got lots of resources on the ground going out doing those searches, lots of partnership agencies that are here supporting our effort. And so this is going to be ongoing for some time. As of just a few moments ago, we've only had the report of 3 minor injuries that have been treated. So search operations are still ongoing, and we'll keep you up to date.
Next, we have Sheriff Mike Miller, and he's going to talk about his department's role in today.
Hey, good morning. So as Chief Coleman said, at 7:43 we were all dispatched to this area. It's what we were to find out the damage that was here. We have worked continuously with other departments, as we've called them in as the other resources, with the Virginia Department of Emergency Management, the state police, the game and inland fisheries. We're all here just to name a few. It's what it is. We have the forestry division here. We have all sorts of different departments coming together to be able to make sure that we know this footprint. We're able to understand this footprint and to make sure our citizens are safe. Is our role in this is to assist fire and rescue to be able to make sure that we're all safe and all of our citizens are safe. What we are asking and stressing very hard is to please try to stay out of this area. 221, we're having to put extra deputies just out on 221 to keep the traffic moving, because people want to come by just to see and also to help, and we understand that. But right now, unless we call you, please stay out of the area so that professionals can do their job. And that's what we're here to, is to make sure that everybody is as safe as possible, because every person that steps their foot on this property, we have to account for, ladies and gentlemen. So we need to the citizens need to understand that. We understand people want to help, and we're greatly appreciative of that. But if they come here and we don't know it, then we could leave somebody out here that is hurt. So we ask you to stand by. We will call our resources as we need them. Thank you.
Next, we have Robert Hiss. He is the County Administrator for Bedford County.
Good morning, everybody. Unfortunately, we've had this incident in Bedford County. What is fortunate, though, is that we've had a tremendous response from our professional public safety agencies who are here assessing the situation, making sure the scene is safe, and doing what they do best in terms of this initial phase of this response. These types of incidents typically have a couple different phases. The purpose of this press conference was to talk about that initial phase of showing up on scene, assessing the damage, making sure safety of the area is paramount, and of course, treating any injuries that may have been present. We've been fortunate in this situation to date with very few injuries, and that is tremendous. As that phase continues to progress the remainder of today, we also start working into another phase, and that is where we have resident resources. So in terms of the Red Cross is stationed at our Good Fire and EMS station off of Good Road. So any residents who live or have been impacted in this immediate area can report. If they need any immediate resources, they can report to that station, and Red Cross is there to assist them in their time of need. And again, I just appreciate all the hard work of all the different agencies. The cooperation that we see in this region and in this community is tremendous, and we couldn't do it without that type of communication amongst each other. That's all.
And finally, this number was in the press release that was sent out, but 540-586-7665, that is a number that residents can call if they need, for example, maybe they can't travel to that temporary shelter off of 221 in Good, or they just need assistance in general connected to this severe weather. So 540-586-7665. I'll open up for questions, and you all, if you feel you're the best person to answer that, just step forward.
How big was the tornado?
So what we can tell is that at this point it's a significant wind event. What the Weather Service chooses to deem it at is going to be on them later, but it's a significant wind event that goes from where we are right now at Goshen Road back toward Langford Mill Road, and that area in between those two roads is the area that's been significantly impacted, and that's where those approximately 45 structures are located.
You spoke about the 45 structures. I gather it covers the gamut in terms of the amount of damage, but can you speak to the damage that you've seen?
Sure. What we know at this point is that there are multiple structures that are catastrophic losses. They are down to the foundation, just surrounded by debris, so they're complete losses. And then, a good portion of those have significant damage. So far, we've not seen a lot of reports of minor damage. Most of the damage is either significant or catastrophic.
Of the people that have been injured, has it been just residents or any first responders?
No first responders have been injured.
Have they all been treated and released here, or did any have to go to the hospital?
They voluntarily drove to the hospital and were treated for minor injuries.
Were there any fatalities reported?
None reported.
And in terms of that temporary shelter that's been set up, how long is that going to be available for people? And then if you can just kind of elaborate on what kind of resources are there.
Sure. So we've got the facility set up there so that folks have a place to rally if if their home was a catastrophic loss, they don't have family in the area, they need somewhere to go for basic provisions. That's what that station is set up for. And then if they have needs more long-term for housing, food provisions, etc., that's something that the Red Cross can link them up with from that station.
Could someone speak to what the situation was like when you arrived on the scene? Elaborating on
Sure.
what you confronted when you arrived?
Yeah, I was the first arriving fire responder, and the sheriff's office had a unit already here when I arrived. On my arrival, basically there was catastrophic damage in the immediate area at the intersections, from where there was one structure that was completely gone. There was trees down around the house, and the house had significant damage to it. We had no accountability of any of the residents at that particular moment. We were met with some high wind and rain still happening at that particular time, lightning. Our crews just immediately started that rescue mode, which is what they're trained to do. And they started searching their worst houses first. The first one they came to, they started there and just went from structure to structure. But when we got here, it's something you see on TV out in the Midwest all the time. You really don't expect it here in the mountain region of our county. So, but we were prepared for it, and our response has been phenomenal. And the resources that we have are working so well together, it's unbelievable.
Has everyone been accounted for?
We are in the process of still searching structures. So far, we don't know of any missing people.
In terms of storm damage like this, when's the last time we saw something? How does it compare? I know you said it doesn't happen often in our area.
We had the storm was 3 years ago in Timberlake, Madison Heights, Lynchburg. That was the last tornado that we had here, and I think that was an EF3. I'd have to ask the meteorologist over here. And but I'm pretty sure it was an EF3 that came through then. I'm not sure what they'll categorize this. I'm sure the National Weather Service has got people responding out to this area, and we'll have more on that. But in Bedford County, the last tornado we had was probably about 12 years ago, and it was in the New London, Big Otter River area, small, not populated area.
We've seen the search and rescue units responding.
Yep.
Are they having to use their specialized training in order to
Yes, sir.
conduct the search?
Yeah, a lot of structural collapse work is being done now. When we do a secondary search, it's a more in-depth search, so they're going into the structure, and they have to make sure that it is safe for them to get in there. And we're talking about homes that are very unstable, so they may have to do some shoring operations to make sure they can get in there and search. But they got to search every little nook and cranny in that house to make sure there's not somebody in there. You got to remember the storm hit at 7:30 in the morning. And some people may have been off for the holiday weekend. Some people may have been late going out. So we've got to make sure that we have every single person accounted for. But structural collapse technicians are there on site from Bedford County and the city of Lynchburg, and that's what they're starting to do now.
You said that there were quite a few structures that were taken basically down to the foundation. Can you elaborate a little bit about what kind of construction these were? Were they well-built homes?
These are stick-built homes. Yeah, if that answers it. And they are stick-built homes. So I think there was one mobile home that was damaged, but in this particular area, there's not a lot of mobile homes in that region. It's more stick-built homes, and that's what's down that road.
And you guys said that it's from here to Langford, correct?
It's Langford Road runs, if you're at this intersection, it's probably about a half a mile up on the right. And so you're probably looking in, Chief, you said 2.3
circumference area.
Yeah, but 2.3 square mile area that's affected, that we're focused on right now.
Anything else?
All right. We appreciate you guys, and we'll have more updates as we get them. Sound good?
Thanks for getting everybody together. We got to find out this late. They called for you.
I was just going to tell you guys to see the group off camera, but.
And you were just listening to officials from Bedford County giving us the latest on the damage following a line of severe storms and a possible tornado this morning. Let me go over a few of the things that they said, the big thing. So first, they did report that there are 3 minor injuries, reports of 3 minor injuries. They are still ongoing with their search efforts. They have they finished their hasty search, which is their first search, and they have now moved on to their secondary search, making sure that no one is in the buildings. They're trying to assess the damage as well. They do know that right now 45 structures are damaged, and they're saying that most of the damage they're seeing is quite catastrophic right now. So they are working to work on this first phase, what they're calling this initial phase, and this is kind of to assess and as well as treat. They do have a shelter for any residents that had, if they had a home that was damaged and they don't have family to go to. They do have resources for you. This is the Red Cross helping them. This is off of Good Road for you. There's a number on your screen that you see there that is 540-586 7665 if you need any help, any assistance, if you're in that area. And then a big thing they are saying is that they don't want anyone going to the area because right now they're trying to still assess and do a search and rescue. So this is off of 221. They're asking people to not go there. They do have extra deputies to keep traffic moving there. They understand, they appreciate the help, but people are trying to come and help. But right now they're really just trying to assess the damage and check on any other people who may be injured. Again, only 3 people reported injuries. They were minor injuries. And we do know that the National Weather Service, they're going to go tomorrow to go determine whether or not that this was an actual tornado or not. We do not know. There was definitely a catastrophic and strong wind event that they can say. And again, a temporary shelter. It's set up at the Bedford County Fire and Rescue Good Station. This is off of Forest Road for anyone in need of shelter. And if you or anyone you know needs help getting to that shelter, again, let's go to that number on your screen. It is 540-586-7665. Of course, we're going to have so much more for you. We're going to have Kara with the latest on the weather forecast on WFXR News at noon. Until then, you're going to want to look for the latest online and on the WFXR News app.
This has been a special report from WFXR News.